All right. Well, we don't usually do really a formal intro, but off the jump, we'll say Caleb's not here today. Um, Start to think you guys don't like each other or something because people are saying because you guys have barely been on the same show. It's like every time one is available, the other one's not.
That's true.
So Caleb actually called you out on yesterday's regular Pigeons episode and said that you're ducking him. But I told him,
But I'm here
yeah, I told him I was like, I think you could make the case that you're ducking Tanner
now.
because,
Yeah.
yeah, especially right now because I mean, look who's here. He's not even here to defend himself.
I was in Florida. It's on my Instagram.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know, where is he? What's on his Instagram right now?
that's true.
Yap, yap, yelling at pigeons. Yap, yap, nobody listens. Yap, yap, screaming my vision. Yap, yap, yelling at pigeons.
I did try to generate like an AI. Riverside has this AI feature I've never used before, and I tried to generate a clip of Caleb being like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not there today. I just want to give my thoughts on the Steelers game. Kind of losing hope. I feel like the Ravens are going to catch us for the division." But it wasn't generating fast enough, so we'll see.
Oh, that would have been great.
But yeah, we had another weekend of football in the books. It was, I don't know, it was kind of eventful, I guess. We had some good games. We had some snoozers as usual, but we will start with quickly go over the Thursday game. At this point, that's been a while. It's been a week, but Packers Lions lived up to the hype. That game was awesome. I feel like both teams. Obviously, we already knew about the Lions, but it's kind of a measuring stick for the Packers. And yeah, they lost, but they hung around, so they feel like they proved a lot. They're definitely a
Yeah,
threat in the postseason.
their 4 losses are 2 to the Lions by 1 score, I think. They've lost to the Vikings. And who was their other loss to? I can't remember. It was a good team, I think.
Um,
So
I want to say that entire division has only lost like a combined 3 games aside from the Bears,
yeah,
has
there's
only lost
okay.
like 3 or 4 games outside of their own division. Like they're just eating each other alive, and outside of that, they're dominating.
Yeah, they lost to the Eagles. So
Ah, yeah,
they did
week 1. That's right.
lose. Yeah, they did lose by 10 the first time they played the Lions. So I misspoke there. But still, I mean,
Yeah,
2 losses to the Lions, 1 to the Vikings. They still play the Vikings again, and 1 to the Eagles. I think they're a really good team. They've beaten some good teams, obviously too.
yeah.
So it's gonna be an interesting playoffs in the NFC.
It is. I mean, you have a team like the Eagles that I guess we'll get into when we get to their game, but I'm starting to have some questions about them. They're definitely still playing well, but the locker room seems to be shaky.
Yeah,
Next
we're
game we
definitely
had though, yeah, for sure.
we're gonna
Next
talk
game we
about
had
bad wide
was
receivers. Sorry.
yeah was Falcons Vikings. I know this is one you're excited to talk about, and I am as well. I didn't really bring the stats for it, which I feel ashamed because Sam Darnold, you deserve better. I should have brought you your flowers other than just saying good job because he's playing amazing and
Yeah.
he deserves all the credit. Granted, he is working with like amazing weapons, but someone still has to get them the ball. You know what I mean? And he's doing that at a very, very high level. So, shout out to Sam Darnold. I'm sure you have some thoughts on that as a Darnold
Yeah,
guy.
I mean, Sam continues to play well. He's back on track. He definitely struggled in the middle of the season. I think I told you and Caleb about Christian Darrisaw was out. I don't know if he's back or not, um, but it seems like their offensive line has started to gel. This game was close for a while. I think it was 21-21 going into the fourth, and then Sam took over. And that is really cool to see because I love Sam Darnold. Always loved Sam Darnold. I thought he's always had a lot of potential, and it's good to see what'll happen when you do get weapons around a guy. I mean, obviously, we're not going to say Sam Darnold's going to do what Josh Allen's doing, right? With limited weapons, but that doesn't mean that Sam's not playing extremely well this year. And I mean, a lot of people said their season was over when McCarthy went down. and it's not. They're 11-2.
Yeah.
Addison had 3 touchdowns. Jefferson had 2. They're feeding everybody. Hawkinson had a good game. Aaron Jones running the ball well. They're just a really good football team. I don't. Yeah, they're playing good football right now. So I hope it continues. I am rooting for the Vikings.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, just absolutely playing out of his mind. You say you've always been a Darnold guy, and I will attest to that. For those of you that don't know Tanner, like obviously we talked about him being a Jets fan, so there was going to be at least a moment there where he was Darnold, but Tanner never gave up on him. I'll give you that. You never. It would have been easy when when the Jets gave up on him to be like, yeah, we were in the right there. He's terrible, because a lot of people did. I think I held on probably longer than most, but I gave up on him probably after the Panthers stint. I was
Yeah,
just like, I think that would have been his time if he was going to figure it out. He would have figured it out now. And man, I feel like I can officially say I was wrong to give up on him, because the guy is just playing amazing football right now. Over the last, what is this? 4 games, he has 1,128 yards and 11 touchdowns with no picks. Like,
yeah,
he's
he's
playing out of his mind.
his the game against the Falcons. I saw a stat. His passer rating was the highest in Vikings history. He just broke that record. I think I sent it to you and Caleb for most over 100 passing rating games in Vikings history. He's still got, what is it, 4 games to play. So yeah, I mean, I'm super happy for him, and we've talked about it a couple times on the pod, but it comes down to coaching. And Kevin O'Connell is one of the best in the game, and
Yep.
he's got 2 wide receivers, which we'll talk about, that don't complain much. You don't hear really anything about Jettis,
Yeah.
and he just goes out, plays football, does a couple of gritties, and that's really it. So it's cool to see, man. And Sammy's our age, so
Yeah.
I always thought about it, like, with me personally, like, man, if somebody gave up on me in my career at 23 or 22, but I'm in the restaurant industry, for people that don't know, but the restaurant around me, the food was bad and all of this was bad, what do I have, right? So it's
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
he had nothing. I think his stint with Kyle Shanahan helped too, obviously. And yeah, I'm rooting for him. I gotta get a Darnold Vikings jersey. That's next on the list.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I mean, you could even go more specific. Like if someone was a chef, for instance, and they're like, "Oh, this guy, we got to get a new chef in this restaurant because they all complain about his food, but they're
Mhm.
getting food from like the worst supplier ever."
Yeah, they're getting Cisco
like,
food. It's all
yeah,
prepackaged.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yep, that's a great point. But yeah, shout out to Sam. They doubled the Falcons up, and I actually had the Vikings in my picks, so got a green for that one.
Nice.
This game did hurt me though. I don't know. I might have texted it in the group chat. If not, you might have saw it on Twitter. But Kyle Pitts cost me a $2,300 payout because
Yep.
he's bad at football. So that's a
I
shame. Usually NFL players are good at football. In
Yeah.
this case, we have the unique scenario in which one of them is not. So
Yeah. His
that's
main
very
job is to catch
unfortunate.
the football, and he dropped it. And
Yeah.
I tailed that bet. So the podcast is out nearly $5 grand. Thanks, Kyle Pitts.
The new studio would have went crazy.
Yeah, we would have had a Kyle Pitts plaque in the studio, and now we're going to have
absolutely.
his face on our dartboard when we get it set up.
Yeah, we would have had a cardboard cutout in the studio, have him on as a guest every week.
Super random, but they're called fatheads, right? Are they still a thing?
Yeah, you know what's weird? Someone asked me that recently, and yeah, they are. I don't think they're like as prominent as they once were when they first came out.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just me being an adult. Maybe kids still love them. I have no idea. But yeah, they're still around. Get a Kyle Pitts fathead.
I'm like looking around my room, like, where can I put a Sam
Where
Darnold
could I
fathead on my wall?
That would be awesome. I mean, the wall behind you looks relatively empty.
Yeah, just put Sammy up there. It'd be cool.
Be sweet. But yeah, Kyle Pitts, to be a little bit more specific, he had on the the Falcons' last drive, was garbage time at this point. I mean, I mentioned they got doubled up. It was 3rd and 3. Kirk throws it to him in the front corner of the end zone. He's supposed to be like his whole thing. He's big athletic tight end, pass catcher, supposed to be able to go up with a corner and come down with it more times than not, and just never stood a shot. Corner just absolutely blanket him. Doesn't come down with it. The next play, he runs sort of like a seam, 4th and 3. Kirk throws it right to him, right through the hands. I mean, right through his hands. And he wouldn't have caught it in the end zone, but it's incredibly unlikely that he wouldn't have made his way in. He probably would have fell in. Although it is Kyle Pitts, so he may have found a way not to.
He could have fallen. You never know, right?
I feel like even if he fell, he would have had to somehow fell backwards. I don't know.
Yeah.
If anyone could do it, it would be him. But on top of that, Kirk does deserve some of the blame because on the drive before that, literally the last 3 of the last few throws of that game, the drive before that, Kirk threw a pick on a would-be Kyle Pitts touchdown. He was wide open. Another seam route. This one was a deep one. And wide open, would have walked in the end zone, and Kirk just throws it to the right behind him and right to the corner. So, yeah, $10 for 2,300. What could have been?
This podcast officially hates the Falcons.
Yeah, especially Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
especially. You know what? This is actually me officially. I talked about officially giving up on Darnold too early. Maybe it'll be too early with Kyle Pitts, but this is me officially giving up on Kyle Pitts because I did do the thing this year where I refused to buy back into his fantasy stock with them getting Kirk. I was like, no, I'm not gonna get tricked into it. Done it every year. But I still kind of had hope that he could become the player he was.
Yeah, you're still rooting for him. Yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah,
I found a way to still get burned despite being smart enough not to draft him. It's a shame. Saints Giants. I don't even know if it's worth talking about. 2 coaches that probably won't even be there next year. Drew Lock, though, GOAT. Started him in fantasy in one of my leagues this week.
Sorry, buddy.
I was already out of the playoffs and I had Stroud on a bye, and I was like, why not Drew Lock? Let's spice it up with Drew Lock.
Let's get crazy.
Yeah. So, 14-11 Saints. Jags Titans. Also don't really care about this game. Despite wearing a Jags jersey, I do care about Blake Bortles though. 10-6. I thought the Titans would win this one. Just a gross. That division is gross as a whole.
I think Levis got hurt again. I think he hurt his shoulder again. I didn't see the play or anything, but they're saying he's dealing with it again. So, that was a Tankathon Bowl, and the Jaguars came out on top, and they played the Jets this week. So I am a Jaguars fan this week.
Ooh.
I am all for tanking. As you are, it looks like. You're rooting for the Jaguars too.
Yeah. Could this be the Frank Gore game 2.0? Could there be a conversion late in the game that has the butterfly effect on the draft that we think about years later?
Yeah, I mean, this year it's not a huge deal. There's good players down the board. I'm hoping for Mason Graham, but there's nobody that I'm like, oh my god, we gotta get him.
Yeah.
So
Plus, neither of those teams are probably going for the 1, right? Or I guess it's kind of a cluster down there.
So I think the Giants, and here, let me pull Tankathon up, but I do look at this quite a bit.
Tankathon.
I want to say the Giants and the Raiders are the only 2 and something teams left. The Patriots might be there too. And then there's the top 8 are separated by a game right now. So the Raiders and Giants are 2-11, and then Patriots, Panthers, Jaguars, Titans, Jets, and Browns are all 3-10.
Wow. I didn't realize you guys were in the mix for it. That's kind of
we are in the mix. I don't think I don't think we'll get the number 1 overall pick, nor do I want us to. I mean, this would be a terrible year to get it, I think, because our guy that we want at 7 is probably
a terrible year to get it. You could argue is a great year to get it because you can trade back.
That's true. Yeah, maybe we trade with somebody. Yep, true.
Somebody wants to move up and get, I don't know, Shador or something.
Yeah.
Could definitely do that. You wouldn't want to take a QB?
No, not this year. I think maybe in the second round. There's a lot of talk about Drew Aller, but I don't know. Not
great
this year.
Upside in Drew Aller. Super low floor, but his ceiling is awesome.
Jets love those type of guys, so it seems like a good pick for us.
His ceiling is like Mahomes Allen-esque because he has that arm and that athleticism,
Yeah.
but his floor is like if
Jamarcus Russell.
in theory if there was a quarterback that fits that mold that played for another New York team that I was willing to criticize, I might mention that as his floor.
Okay. Yeah.
But unfortunately, that there's no one that fits that mold, so I don't know what his floor is. But
Yeah, there is no floor. The floor is the ceiling. So
yeah, the floor is the ceiling. Raiders Bucks. Pretty easy win for them. Raiders lost AOC. Was that this game, or am I getting my weeks mixed up? Did they lose?
I want to say, did he get hurt again? Because he came back last week, and played because what's his name got hurt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Blanking on his name.
Bone bruise.
But I don't. He may have gotten hurt again. I don't know.
Bone bruise in his knee.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Who's
playing quarterback for them now? That's intriguing.
So I don't know who's going to start. Maybe Desmond Ridder.
Oh yeah, Ridder came in.
But they are calling up. Oh, I wish I knew this. Terrible podcasting. I want to say it's Gus Bradley's son. They're calling him up for the practice squad. Him and Nathan Peterman, fun fact, won me $800 in the preseason. So
that's awesome.
Shout out to Nathan Peterman and Gus Bradley's son. Money makers. Panthers, Eagles. You and I were all over this game. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to last week's episode, but I said the Panthers would cover in this game. You picked it in our picks draft.
Yeah.
So we were all over that. Panthers.
Yeah.
Good to see them playing good. I mean, I keep saying that every week, but I don't know. I like to see them playing well.
Yeah.
Feel good for Bryce Young. Sucks that they couldn't pull off the upset. Xavier Legette couldn't haul it in. Would have been a huge.
Yeah, that would have been
play.
an insane upset. I always try to lean towards the teams that are underdogs by 2 touchdowns. This is the NFL.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
And it's hard to. I mean, obviously this week's a bad example, but when a team's favored to win by 2 touchdowns, it feels like they rarely do. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's statistics out there, but this game felt like, for me, it was a breeze to take the Panthers 2 touchdowns. They've been playing well. The Eagles have been playing well, but we talked about, obviously, they have some issues, but they don't seem to blow teams out of the water. It just felt like a letdown spot. Like, next week, yeah. I don't know what the odds are, but I will probably be taking Giants against the Ravens for the same exact reason. Really good teams. I don't know why. Sometimes they just struggle to blow out bad teams. So.
Yeah, so according to the source that is the all-knowing ChatGPT, so this is almost certainly incorrect, but I'll share it with you anyway. Teams that are favored by 2 touchdowns cover the spread roughly 60 to 65% of the time. So
damn it.
Already I said one, it disagreed with us, so it's definitely wrong. 2, I can't trust that. Well, 1, I can't trust it because it's just an AI summary. But 3, if it really knew, would it not give me an actual number? 60 to 65. Why?
Yeah.
Just give me the number. If you actually know the answer, just give me the number.
It should tell you exactly how many games were played, exactly how many times. Yeah, I agree.
I do not trust that at all.
We've got the best source in the game. So vibes were telling me.
And that's the vibes, exactly.
And
the vibes say
vibe for me some money. So
usually the dogs. Yep. Speaking of multi-touchdown games, this one the Steelers could have covered. Actually, no, they couldn't have. Spoke too soon. Point shy. But the Steelers handled the Browns pretty easily. Pickens had said a couple weeks ago the only reason the Browns won was because of the snow. And Pickens didn't play in this game, but the Steelers seem to back that up. If the AI voice generation works and I get to add it to this episode, you will hear that Caleb wasn't a fan of this game despite the performance. But no, the Steelers look good. I've been saying for a couple weeks now, I'm standing on it. They are going to beat the Chiefs on Christmas. It's going to be a great Christmas present. So buckle up for that, Steelers fans. They're going to beat them. They're going to beat them.
Interesting.
Bet on it.
All right.
They're going to beat it. Tell me, why the Chiefs have not played that good of football? And granted, they're winning. They're a good team. I'm not sitting here saying they're bad. But you put them up against a team that plays great defense, a team that is playing arguably just as good on offense. Russell Wilson's cooking. Like, the Steelers don't make the kind of silly mistakes that Chiefs opponents have been giving the Chiefs the games with.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's a credit to the Chiefs for hanging around. If you stick around in the game, you give these inferior teams a chance to give you the game. And that in itself is impressive, but I don't see the Steelers. They're too well coached to give you a game. You're going to have to flat out beat them, and I don't think they're going to.
Yeah. All right.
We have Jets-Dolphins next. Any thoughts on this? This was an overtime game.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
Seemed like I didn't get a chance to watch. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of it, but it seemed entertaining.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. Aaron played decently well. We ran a committee because Brees Hall was out. So Berlin Allen and Isaiah Davis split snaps. And I like both of those guys. They're like, if we didn't have Brees Hall, it would be like a perfect complement. So Isaiah Davis, small, shifty, fast guy, catches the ball really well. Berlin Allen, underrated catcher of the football, but I think he's like 6'1", 230 pounds. So,
well, he's only like 13 years old, so he can still grow yet.
That's very true. If I have to hear any more about how the age difference of when he was born and what Aaron Rodgers was doing, oh my god. But Garrett Wilson had a great game. We were feeding him the ball, which over the past 3 years, I mean, the previous 2 seasons, I thought it happened quite often, but this year it just doesn't feel like we were feeding him the football. And he's just a guy that you have to get the ball to. He's not one of those guys that, I don't know. We'll get to the Bengals game, but they just force-fed Chase, and that's what you need to do with Garrett Wilson. I mean, he can be one of the best receivers in the game, and if you just let him cook. So they let him do that, which was great to see. So and we lost. So I mean, I was rooting for him, obviously. But now that we lost that game, it's cool, whatever way it goes.
In a weird way, it's kind of the best case scenario because you had a lot of good things to hang your hat on. But as far as draft position, you do still get that. I mean, I guess you would like to tack on some wins for the vibes, for the culture, but I mean, you're going to be getting a new coaching staff and stuff anyway, so probably doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what happens because everyone's going to be brand new, see the scheme and what happens because a lot of these players are built around the scheme we have. So, the offensive players I think are safe, but I think our defense, it's going to be very intriguing to see what happens.
Yeah, and Isaiah Davis, a jackrabbit, teammates with my 2 deepest sleepers of this past year's draft, and that is the Janke brothers, wide receivers from there. So. They didn't work out. I'm not a good scout, but they were my sleepers. So I don't think either of them. Yeah, I don't think either of them are on any rosters. So
maybe next year.
Find a way. Yeah. Or they could be DC Defender legends. That'd be cool. We could do that. We had Seahawks Cardinals. The Seahawks. Geno Smith remains undefeated against the Cardinals. They cannot beat him. He just owns them. I believe he's 6-0. I know he's undefeated. And this, do we know? Did this lock up the division or just close? Because that division still, the Rams.
I want to say close, right? I think it might be lockable this week. No, Rams are 1 game back. So,
okay. Maybe it eliminated the Cardinals because I heard something about this division.
Yeah.
Now, that sounds right because they've lost 2 games to the Seahawks.
Well, no, the Cardinals can win out and the Seahawks can lose out, and the Cardinals would get the division. But nonetheless, they
got it. Okay.
Definitely buried them, and I bet the Seahawks because of the stat you said. So thank you, I appreciate that.
No problem.
They were underdogs, I think, in this game.
Yeah. I had them in the picks as well. I had them +3.
There you go.
And pretty easy cover.
Yeah. So
can't complain with that at all. By the way, our picks, I almost forgot. I wanted to share them this week on here because I don't normally do that.
I think I only got one right. Very sad.
Yeah, wasn't your best week, but can't get them all.
I've been pretty positive.
Yeah,
past few weeks, but this week not a good one.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I was able to hit on Vikings -6, Seahawks +3. Amari Cooper, that one's a little frustrating because he did have a great game, 6 for 95, but didn't find the end zone. Zach Davidson did not have a red zone target this week, unlike last week. Caleb hit on Bucks -6.5 and Chargers +4. None of us hit on any touchdowns, regular
Yeah.
or wild card. So Caleb
I
missed on
think
AJ Brown and Connor Hayward.
I've got the biggest gripe for my anytime touchdown score, and I don't think you can disagree with that.
No, that's fair. Because here's the thing with James Cook. He is, I want to say, 5, if not 6 touchdowns away from the Bills' single season record for rushing touchdowns in a season. So it would have made sense to feed him the ball. And then on top of that, you have Josh Allen came into this game with only one 1-yard rushing touchdown on the season. I was actually arguing with someone about that on Twitter before the game, how he's not been sniping James Cook's touchdowns at all. And then Sunday, for whatever reason, was the day that he did indeed snipe some James Cook touchdowns, 3 of them to be exact. Would have been nice if they could have given just one of them.
It's so funny to me because you were so, I wouldn't say you were so upset, but you were like, this guy's an idiot. We all were in agreement. Like, yeah, that's such a stupid take. And then Josh Allen had 3 1-yard rushing touchdowns, and it's just
I think
that
last
guy,
year.
Oh,
I was gonna say I think last year I had a similar debate with someone on a game day morning, and then Josh had 2 that day.
Yeah.
I think that was old.
I will keep that in my back pocket for the next time you debate somebody.
If you see me telling someone online that he doesn't get 1-yard touchdowns, that means he's due.
Yeah.
That means he's very due.
You can say that you were on that guy's brain all day long. I mean, he had to have been thinking about you every 100%. Time he scored. So
100%. He was probably like, I told him.
Yeah, he was so close to quote tweeting you, but did you block him? You should have.
No, I muted the conversation though.
Oh, dude, you should have blocked him.
But yeah, no, I mean, he can't really talk because even with 3 1-yard touchdowns, his average distance of rushing touchdowns this year still is 7.1, and that's with having a game where he had 3 1-yarders this week. So
that's crazy.
The guy was still wrong. He just I'll give him that he had the best week to possibly make that argument. So got a little lucky there.
That guy's running hot.
Yeah, for sure. Wrapping up the picks, Tanner missed on Bills -3.5, which sucks for me and for Tanner a little bit this time. He did hit Panthers. We talked about that being all over that, and we mentioned missing on James Cook. He also had Jeremy Ruckert as our wild card touchdown. We've been throwing around the idea of maybe chilling out on the wild card touchdowns a little bit. What happens? I'll peel back the curtain a little bit for you guys. What happens is one of us will throw in like a +750 or something, which is still crazy, and the next person will have like a +1400, and then the third person's like, well, now I got to match your freak. That shout out to Caleb, his exact words. And then they do like a +2000, and then we all, and then the first one's like, well, now I got to match you guys, and we just end up with the craziest picks ever, which in a sense is kind of the point of the wild card touchdown, but it would be nice to
it'd be cool to hit, and I think it would also allow us to bring some insight onto kind of like what we were thinking. Like I texted you guys about Kendra Miller, and I wanted to put him. He was like +500. Isaiah Davis scored. I was thinking about putting him. He was +495. I bet both of those singly, hit both of them. But those are long shot touchdowns to me. You know, anything over 450, I'd say is in there. You know, you're looking at guys that are playing 20% of the snaps, getting 2 or 3 touches a game. So to predict them to get a touchdown's relatively cool. But yeah, we get crazy. We get a little freaky, but it's cool. It's fun.
The problem is, the problem is I'm a psychopath. So like most of my parlays are going to have like someone with like 400. That seems normal to me. Like, oh, this guy's +400. That's a lot. Put it in my parlay. So it's like until I double or triple that, I'm like, that's a real wild card right there. But in reality, 400 or 500 is very much a wild card. I did think of the idea, and we'll figure it out, you know, off camera, but just throwing this out there, we could also do instead of wild card, we could replace it with 2 touchdown score. There's
Okay.
sneaky a handful of players that score twice every week. It'd be kind of cool if
Yeah.
we could snipe that. So something to think about.
Would you have
Next
put
game.
Brandon
Go ahead.
Cooks, just real quick, would you have put Brandon Cooks as your 2 touchdown scorer?
Well,
something tells me
there's a
that's going to get
50-50
freaky too.
there's a 50-50 chance because I did bet Brandon Cooks for 2 touchdowns, but here's the thing. I had the right idea, and then I executed it poorly. It was like if you started a game with a play that worked really well, and then you just spam that play, and it doesn't work the rest of the time. So I was like, I think Jamar Chase is going to score twice tonight. So I added him to my parlay. And then I was like, ooh, this will be fun. Let's do a 2 touchdown score parlay. Let me add Brandon Cooks. Why? Why did I do that? I had a great pick with Jamar Chase. I had to ruin it by doing a theme.
Yeah.
And adding to Brandon Cooks,
you could have made some money. I mean, Brandon Cooks did score. So
Yeah. I mean, they were offering me almost triple my wager at one point as a cash out.
Ooh.
So, I mean, my wager was only $5, but still, if we're talking percentages.
Hey, I mean, you get $15. That's 3 more of your double touchdown parlays. So
yeah, I mean, if you invested $500 in a stock and you cashed it out for $1,400, people would be like, "Man, this guy is a genius. He should be on Wall Street."
there you go.
So yeah, but Bears Niners. I actually thought the Bears would at least cover in this game, and it was not close. 38-13. The Niners kind of looked like the Niners. Talked about Diva receivers. We did see some Debo stuff. I'm not struggling. I'm just not getting the ball, I think was his words.
Yeah, with a bunch of exclamation points. I think that's more important.
Yeah. So
I thought the comments to him were funnier. Like everybody was like, "So you are struggling to get the ball, though."
yeah.
So
yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, like there was people being like, you literally lead your team in targets. So if you're not getting the ball, you are struggling.
Yeah, he has 72 touches this year. Through
that's crazy.
I mean, that's 6 or 7 touches a game for a guy that he's never open. We've talked about this. I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago about avoiding that contract. Like Debo is not a good wide receiver. He's a good wide receiver. Sorry, he's not an elite wide receiver.
He's a good football player. He's not an elite wide receiver.
And dude, I can't stand wide receivers that say that. Especially you won 38-13. Elijah Moore did that to the Jets. We were 5-2, whatever. But it's like, what are you talking about? And you're getting the ball. Elijah Moore at least wasn't getting the ball. Like we weren't throwing the ball, so I was like, he does kind of have a point, which. Whatever, but like Debo, you got the ball 70 plus times this year already. Shut up, dude.
Yeah,
score.
What are you complaining about? I'm small percent worried that the Bills could make a move for him in the offseason because there was rumors we were interested this past offseason.
Yeah,
but
I'm a little worried.
I think with him talking like that on social media and stuff, we have Brandon Beane that's probably a huge turnoff for him just coming off of Diggs.
Yeah.
Like, oh, never mind, dodge a bullet. So hopefully that's the case. And I will say right here, right now, if we do get him, I will delete this episode and completely flip script. So just getting ahead of that now. I will
just get on both sides, dude.
Yeah.
If you just get on both sides, you can never be wrong.
Covering all my bases. I will absolutely, completely. I'll be like, oh yeah, I was having a rough day and I just wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
Like I'll make something up. I promise you, I will think of some kind of excuse.
I love that.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Bills Rams is our next game. This was probably the game of the week. Absolute shootout. It wasn't a game of the week if you like defense because neither defense showed up at all. 42-44 with the Rams coming out on top. I maybe should be a little more upset about this game. It sucks. I mean, we played a really talented team that's finally healthy and had their backs against the wall, backed into a corner. Like that's a tough matchup. Josh Allen was incredible. Matt Stafford was incredible. The defense was getting picked apart. Sean McVay just running a clinic on Bobby Babich, who has done well this year, but sometimes you just get out coached. Like it's just one of those games. It was just obviously the McDermott thing at the end sucked. I'm not as mad that he called a timeout as I am that we ran the ball. Like, I want to know whose call it was to run the ball. Did that come from Joe
Yeah.
Brady or did that come from McDermott? Because if it came from Joe Brady, it's hard to really put that on McDermott because he had to make a decision. He had like 1 or 2 seconds. Every one that ticks by, the timeout makes less sense. So if you're already considering it, you have to do something, right? But we should have never been in the situation to have to decide whether or not to take a timeout. Made no sense to run the ball there. For those of you that don't know, we had the ball 1st and goal at the 1 with a minute left, and we were saving all 3 timeouts. Specifically, like, if we scored, I was just about to tweet, like, no matter how this game ends, credit to McDermott for saving his timeouts because a lot of teams get nervous and use it to slow things down.
Yeah, I hit the panic button.
Yeah, he held on to him because then you can obviously have a chance to get the ball back with some time to try to win the game. And 1st and goal from the 1, we do a QB sneak. And it does not get in. So now you have to decide, do we want to drain another 12? It could be more than – you could be looking at 15 seconds because you're in a dog pile. Everyone's got to get up. You know the opponents are going to get up slower. Like, you could be looking at some real time eating off. So now you have to decide timeout or not. McDermott calls a timeout, which instantly pretty much drops your chances to almost 0 because you're going to have
you got to get an onside kick.
Yeah. And then we score the next play, which some people are like, I can't believe they ran it again the second time. At that point, it doesn't matter. You already don't have enough timeouts. You just run whatever play is most likely to score. Like, you already used one of your timeouts. Credit to the Rams because they had the first ever walk-off punt, to my knowledge. I've never seen a walk-off punt before. There were 7 seconds left, and the Bills were about to possibly have a chance to run the old lateral play or something. And they punted it perfectly. It landed right at the 1 with 0 seconds and bounced out of the end zone. Walk-off punt. So, shout out to their punter. That's
pretty awesome. Yeah, I didn't watch the end of this game. I'm a huge QB sneak truther. So from the 1 yard line, you already got 3 of them, or 2 of them. I'm assuming his third came then, but I would do it. I just don't. I don't know what the package was, but shouldn't everybody at this point have a Philly special, especially if your quarterback's 6'5", 240?
Yeah, it was Philly special.
The first one was short.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
really?
came up short.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that play could be stopped. Okay.
Yeah. No, it got stopped. But like I said, the problem isn't. I agree. If you only need a yard, like, you're almost always going to get that, especially if it's first down. You could run it 4 plays in a row. There's 0% chance they're going to stop at 4 plays in a row. But in this scenario, we're trying to save time. Why not? Like, Josh Allen is going nuclear all game. He's already got 5 touchdowns at this point. Roll him out to the field side. Give him a tight end on like an out. Give him someone on a curl.
Yeah.
He can toss it if they're open. If not, he can run it. Worst case, throw it out of bounds. But you're only using a couple seconds each time. So that to me, and I feel like that probably works on the first play. That's hard to defend. You have a mobile QB with multiple options.
Get him out of the pocket.
Yeah, just roll him out, little boot. Like, I don't know. I even said it before this. I'm like, okay, we should be running a boot here. And then we lined up in Philly special. I'm like, great, this is a horrible idea. Sure enough, did not work out. But it's all good. I mean, it sucks because I want to go for the 1 seed. Now we need the Chiefs to lose twice. Plus, we have to win out. I was already factoring in that we might lose this coming week to Detroit. So 1 seed odds are not looking as great. But
to me, this is just an unbiased view. This is an outlier game. You're not going to have somebody put 44 on your head every week.
I sure hope not.
And you're not going to have Josh Allen score 6 total touchdowns and not turn the ball over and still lose.
Yeah.
So it does suck, obviously, for the 1 seed because you guys I think you're better than the Chiefs. But I don't know. I think you guys got them in the playoffs this year. But
I hope. But it's funny because you talk about it being an outlier. I agree. Although I shouldn't totally call it an outlier because I do think the Rams are a good team when they're healthy. I think they just showed up when they needed it and won the game. But we could find ourselves in a situation where we do get like 40-something hung on us next week because we're playing Detroit, the best offense in football. So
that's true.
You could see the national media start to hit the panic button. But I promise you I will not I will not be hitting the panic button, no matter what. No matter what
Even if it's like
happens,
38-6.
as long as everyone's healthy,
Okay.
I won't hit the panic button. If it's 38-6, I'll get the panic button out, set it next to me, have
Open
it ready.
the case. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe flip the switch on the bottom to like test just to see if it still
Okay.
works, and then I'll hit it just to see if it works, and then I'll flip it back to regular on mode, and then it'll be ready. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll have it ready. But I don't plan on hitting any panic buttons next week. Chargers Chiefs. The Chiefs. I mean, if any Chiefs fans are watching this, right? Oh, Luke clearly hates the Chiefs so much. I'm like, first of all, I kind of do. Yeah, they always beat the Bills. Like, I think that's fair. As long as I'm willing to admit why, I think that's totally fair for me to say I hate them. But they're just well coached, talented team. Obviously, Pat Mahomes, like, they just find ways to win. Or you could argue other teams find ways for them to lose. I mentioned this earlier, that just staying in the game is hard to do to begin with. So credit to them for that. But like, they win off of a doink field goal. I tweeted after the game. I said the Chiefs are the exact opposite of the Bears in that they find a new, never before seen way to win every week.
Yeah.
The Bears do the same thing with a loss, it seems like. It's insane. It really is crazy.
Yeah, that was a crazy game to watch. The Chiefs have turned into hammer the under type team. All of their unders sit around 40 now, which is absolutely insane.
You could probably. I wonder what your plus minus will be if you this whole season had been betting the spread on the underdog in the Chiefs game and then the under in the game.
Yeah, you'd be up a lot, I'd say, with unders. And yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of close games. So I mean, they're 12-1, but they easily could be. They could have lost last week. They should have lost to the Raiders. They could have lost to the Panthers. They should have lost to the Broncos. I mean, this team could be 7-6, or what is that? No, 8-6. Sorry, no, 7-6, or 8-5.
According to StatMuse, the Chiefs are 4-8-1 against the spread this season.
There you go.
So you could be.
I would assume the under's probably around 4 or 5, and whatever it would be as well.
Yeah, the vibes are more accurate than any stat book anyway. So
yeah.
And then we capped it off with Monday Night Football. We had Bart Simpson versus Homer. I don't know what's the point of these games. Like, who was that for? Because the Toy Story one, I guess I get it. Want to get some kids watching the game, whatever. Who was this for?
I think it actually was for the generation above us. My brother, he's 34, absolutely loves The Simpsons. He doesn't watch football, so he may, like, if I asked him about it, I'd be like, yeah, I saw that, thought it was cool. But like the old heads I follow on Twitter loved it. I mean, they thought it was the coolest thing ever. People that are like 30 to 40 love this game. So, I thought it was cool. I don't know. I think it's an interesting way to, I guess, get a different perspective on the game. But like personally, it would be nice if there were just better camera angles in the game. Like, instead of making it all artistic, like they tested out in the preseason a couple of years ago, like the behind the quarterback view and like different views would be really cool for people to understand the game more and things of that nature.
So you're saying you want the angles from the Simpson broadcast in the regular broadcast?
Yeah,
I can see that for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I could be wrong here. I think you can get that with Prime Vision, the alternate broadcast.
Well, you there's like different ways. Like if you watch obviously film, you can do it. There's different if you have a certain app and specific things you can do it. But like in the game, I want to be able to just here it is. You know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That would be nice.
It'd also be nice if we didn't have to figure out from a blurry camera angle that's not even with a first down line if somebody's got the first down or not. That is like my biggest complaint.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me that we can't get that right. It's 2024. We should be able to know exactly what every play is when it comes down to placement of the ball. And we still don't have it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is everyone's like, oh, why can't we put a chip in the ball? There is a chip in the ball already for next-gen stats. And we just don't use it for first downs, touchdowns, anything like that. Which part of me does get the argument for the human element is part of the game. But also, at the end of the day, don't you want it to be right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, wouldn't you want it to be right?
I can't stand that. Now, if it's one of those things that it's like, okay, this is going to take 5 minutes to figure out, okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's human element. But if they go to this is another gripe of mine, but like they go to the assist thing while they're lining up for the next play, and you can figure it out within that, there's got to be technology to be able to do that. I mean, they do
Yeah.
it with the goal line already. I just don't get how they can't say, all right, they're at the 41, they got to get to the 31, program it in. All right, we're ready to go. First down,
Yeah.
31. Did they get it? Yes,
Mhm.
no. It's
Or
just so frustrating.
can they at least do like you can use that technology for challenges?
Yeah,
Like open the window to get that in there a little bit. Be like tennis, like with
true.
VAR.
Yeah,
Like we're throwing a challenge. We want to know if he made it there, and we want to use the chip to find out, not
yeah,
chains and like when the one ref used a piece of paper.
yeah.
Like
That was crazy.
I think that they should start with that and go from there. Make
Yeah,
it all challenges include the chip in the ball,
yeah.
and also like they've been using more of the crew in what is it, New York or
Mhm.
Secaucus or something like that. I think they should use them even more. Like
I
they'll be
agree.
like, oh, there was some weird thing with some camera angle in a Bears game a couple weeks ago, and they're like, oh yeah, the refs can see this angle, but they can't make their decision based on that angle because not every stadium has that camera. It's like the
What?
NFL's worth billions of dollars. Then put one in every
Yeah,
stadium. Like, what are we doing?
yeah,
This makes no sense. And then they were like, but if they challenge it, they can use it, or vice
yeah.
versa. If it's a referee review, like, what are we doing? Why does it have to be so
That's
complicated?
crazy. Imagine being a head coach and having to like, all right, does
Yeah,
this stadium have that
yeah,
camera angle that's gonna like that's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. Oh, we have this sideline camera angle, and we clearly see that he's in or out of bounds.
Yeah.
But sorry, I have to pretend I don't see that.
Yeah. You
Like,
can put
it's
on
insane.
VR goggles right now and see anything in the world, but they can't figure out if
Yeah,
somebody got a first down or not. It's
yeah. Speaking of which, I played Halo in VR for the first time yesterday. That was awesome.
really.
That was awesome.
Was it nauseating?
I mean, it depends. Like, I don't tend to get too nauseous playing VR sometimes if I'm playing a game where I'm moving around too much. But I think it just depends on the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that was pretty cool. We're gonna one of these days, me and Caleb are gonna talk you into getting one so you can play golf with us.
Oh, I love that. And sit at that bar or whatever you guys sit at.
Yeah, yeah, and watch
Yeah.
games at the sports bar, the
I
virtual
love
sports
that.
bar. All right, well, that brings us to this week's games. I'm sure you guys at this point were probably tired of hearing last week's games anyway. We're kicking off Thursday night football with Rams 49ers. I think this might be our first true loser leaves town game of the season. I think
Yeah.
whoever loses this game, that's probably I don't know though, because I guess if the Rams lose, hope
They're
is
still
mostly
seven and
lost. But
seven.
yeah, they're not totally out of it.
Yeah.
But the
What's their
Niners are done.
schedule for
The
yeah,
Niners are
this
cooked if they lose this game.
they have the Rams have the Jets, the Seahawks, and the Cardinals. So they do have some divisional games still left to play.
Yeah,
But I agree. I mean, I think it means more for the 49ers. Obviously, it's do or die at this point, and their top wide receivers complaining about getting the ball. So, um, and the
season
Rams
on
are
the line,
finally
trying to
healthy.
make it in the playoffs, and he's worried
Yeah,
about, despite
this
getting the
is
most
a
targets on the team, he's worried about targets.
this is a very intriguing game. There's so many storylines to it. Like you said, the Rams are finally healthy,
Yeah,
clicking on all cylinders. You got Shanahan versus McVay, which is always a good matchup. Yeah, it'll be a good
yeah.
game.
If you're not looking at it now, do you know the spread of this game?
No, I don't know it, but if I had to guess, 49ers at home, I'd say they're 4.5 point favorites.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. Well, that's what I wanted. I wanted you to guess. The Niners are -2.5, and I think I like the Rams. I think the Rams are heating up.
Ooh, I like the 49ers
Granted,
at
I
ten
am
and a
coming
half.
off of watching them drop 44 on my head, but
Yeah,
I
well, they
feel like
didn't.
they're
Oh,
heating
yeah,
up
they
for a
were.
stretch here.
I'm an idiot. Um, yeah, I mean, that 2.5, I think the 49ers won by a field goal.
We'll see. Maybe we'll. Well, our picks won't be out by then. I'll say maybe we'll be going head to head on the picks. Yeah, should be a good game either way. Cowboys Panthers. Panthers. Who would have thought we'd make it to a point where they're favored in a game? Panthers -2.5
Wow.
in this game. Sunday.
That's
at 1.
crazy. Good for them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a nice turnaround. I always root for young quarterbacks. I've standed on that on this podcast for every week I've almost been on, and good for Bryce Young. He's proving my thought process right. These kids need time, so just give them time. They'll figure it out, or they won't, and they suck. But they need more than 16
Give them
starts.
time, and more importantly, give them coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Give them coaching. Chiefs Browns. Chiefs minus. This is kind of a testament, I guess, to these close games they've had. Only minus 4.5, but feels like they're a much better team than the Browns.
Yeah.
With that being said, I don't know if I can confidently take a minus 4.5, even though the Browns did just get smoked.
Yeah, in Cleveland. So if this game
Right,
was in
Cleveland,
Arrowhead,
sure.
they'd be favored by 7.5. And I don't know if I don't know at home if I'd bet them minus 7.5. So I don't know if I'd bet them minus 4.5. I'm just gonna stay away from Chiefs games until I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Like if this was like 2.5, I'd be like, hammer the Chiefs.
Yeah,
But 4.5 is too much for me, so I'll pass.
fair
What's
enough.
the over under? Actually, I'm intrigued by that. 42.
44.5.
44.5.
Yeah.
I'd hit the over on that, I think. Browns are sneaky, dude. I could see
It's so funny that we just went from you could probably be rich if you were betting the under
Oh, dude, I'm
and the
all over the
underdog
over.
and
Yeah,
the
but at some
Chiefs,
point,
and then now we're like, I think I like the over. I don't
Yeah.
know that I can take the dog
I
or
think they're
not.
gonna cover. I think they're gonna No, I don't know. That's too much of a variance game. The Browns, you never know what you're gonna get with them and Jameis, and so
Yeah. We have Bengals Titans. Kind of a who cares games, but stat wise, we'll probably see another big game from Burrow and Chase. I feel like at this point they're just racking up the stats for no reason.
are the Bengals officially eliminated?
I don't think so.
I
think they're
would.
very, very close.
Who has the last two? Chargers, Broncos, 8-5. There's 3 8-5 teams. So the Bengals, I can't remember who I said you should go look at for MVP. I think it may have been Sam Darnold at 50-1. Joe Burrow may be a look for MVP right now. If they find a way to win out and sneak into the playoffs, there's absolutely no way he doesn't win the MVP.
His
in my
numbers
mind.
are insane, but the voters, despite wins not being a QB stat, the voters have made it very clear throughout the years that they value wins. I think I saw a stat earlier. I want to say it was in the last 15 years, the MVP has been on either the 1 or 2 seed every single time.
Interesting. That's so stupid.
So,
I hate
it
stuff
is.
like that.
It is, and I'm saying that as someone who like that will play a role in Josh Allen winning it if he wins it.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously is having an amazing year either way, but like that will play a factor if he's going to take it home. And even I would say, like I've always said, wins are not a QB stat. It's so like I don't understand how you could just have such a surface level understanding of stats. Like, why would you not look into okay, what is causing those wins? Like the goal is to win. The player is valuable. What is he doing to help them win? Just because they're not winning doesn't mean he's not providing a lot of value towards winning. Like I just don't.
Yeah.
There's so many variables, and especially in football. There's 53 people on the team. Like
Joe
there's
Burrow
a lot of different moving parts.
has an outside chance to. I wouldn't even say it's outside. He has, I'd say, a 35% chance to throw for 5,000 yards and 45 passing touchdowns this year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If he does that and they make the playoffs, it would be a win stat. Like he has to be the outlier in the 15-year thing. He's playing out of his mind. The only reason that they're 5-8 is because of him and Jamar Chase.
Devil's advocate, though, would say the only reason that, and I wouldn't say the only reason, but if I'm playing devil's advocate, the only reason his numbers are so high is because they're always trailing. So other quarterbacks don't get to constantly throw at the rate that he does and constantly need to score the whole game every single game.
Okay. That's fair, but he's still accomplished.
He's still doing it though.
But you are right. You're right. And in game script and the way that teams play, like you said, like the Bills, for example, they play slow now. Their defense is good. I mean, I hope Josh wins it. I think he deserves it. I think he's the odds-on favorite now, right? Or pretty
Yeah, at the
close to
moment,
it.
yeah. I think
So
I was looking at it today or yesterday. I think it was minus 430 or 450, something like that.
yeah,
And Saquon's in second.
good. I'm glad Lamar's nowhere near it. Doesn't deserve
Lamar is third or
Fourth.
fourth, and then Darnold is like fifth or sixth, which is crazy. I hope someone gives Darnold a vote. I want to be able to say he got an MVP vote. Please. Someone gives Sam Darnold. Imagine everyone is like, I'm going to be the guy that gives Sam Darnold a vote. And then he just
Oh my
wins.
God, he just
That
wins
would
the
be
MVP.
incredible.
I would love that. Oh my God.
Would be
Or,
unreal.
dude, I would also love if he finished above Lamar Jackson. That would be awesome. That would make my
Yeah.
whole year.
That
Dude,
would be
Patrick
incredible.
Mahomes. Wait, no, that's not correct. When was this article written? This was updated on December 8th. They have Patrick Mahomes as the fourth favorite. What?
For MVP?
Yeah, get that
That's-
off my screen, dude. That is actually insane.
What did I
and
tell
that
you?
goes right to,
Wins.
yeah,
It's because he has
right
one
to what you were
loss.
saying. That's
It's because
crazy.
he has one loss. Yep. Last year, and this is going to be a bad look coming off of us just saying that we hope Sam Darnold gets more votes than Lamar. But, like, Lamar is an amazing player. Last year was not his best season by any metric.
No.
He was the first MVP to win, not being top 10 in, I believe, passing touchdowns or passing yards.
Yeah, that's he
the
didn't
first
deserve
quarterback to win it, not doing that, and it was because of the seeding. Like they were the one seed, so that's why he won. Like last year, it should have been McCaffrey. That was the year to give it to a running back, and they didn't give it to him. So, also we talked about the Bengals playoff odds. Prior to their win over the Cowboys, ESPN's Seth Walder estimated the Bengals a Bengals win would result in a 3% chance for them to make the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's very low.
What is his estimate though? Like, is his vibes? Why does he not have to specify that it's vibes? He gets to just say, "Oh yeah. My calculations are 3%." Just say it's vibes.
He spends hours into his computer system. I'm gonna say they have a 6% chance. I don't have any research, but that's my thought.
Yeah, and mine says 5. So when we combine it, Yelling at Pigeons has come up with a 5.5% chance official from our algorithm.
I love that.
Vibes algorithm for the Bengals to make the playoffs.
The Bengals, all right, sorry to get way off topic. The Bengals to win the Super Bowl are 350 to 1.
That would be insane.
The Dolphins, the Colts, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, I'll take the Seahawks out of that. But the Cardinals, Dolphins, Colts, and Falcons all have better odds than the Bengals. No chance, dude. I would bet the Bengals. I'm not going to, but I would.
It's weird because, like, I do kind of feel like the Bengals are a better team than those guys, but they have to get in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they do only officially they only have a 5.5% chance to make it in. So that's where it gets weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to find you a value play right here for the listeners that want to take a wild card on a Super Bowl winner. And that is none other than
I thought you were.
No. Well, here's the problem. This is the same problem I run into with my wild card picks for a touchdown. Because what I was about to give you was the Pittsburgh Steelers at 19 to 1, but I was like, that's not enough.
I think that's enough. I mean, the one that stands out to me is the Packers at 18 to 1.
Actually, it's the Rams at 55 to 1.
Yeah.
I think it's like I was just saying, I think they're about to hit their stride. They just are coming off a huge win over one of the AFC contenders. Like,
now would be the time to bet it.
They're healthy. I might have to get
They'll be up to probably 40 to 1 if they beat the 49ers. Maybe even higher.
Yeah. Like, worst case scenario, you could at least set yourself up for a cash out scenario.
I kind of like.
Do we not think the Rams can win a playoff game?
I like the Chargers too. Chargers play good football. 40 to 1.
Yeah, and they play good defense, well coached. Are they going to get Dobbins back?
Yeah, he is supposed to come back week 17. So not fantasy viable, but playoff viable. Dude. We should talk about this off podcast, but there's like the name the finalists against teams against each other. Bills versus Rams, 90-1.
Why not?
That's
Why
that
not?
is such a value pick.
Might
I
have to
like
run
that.
that. I don't see why not. Oh, here we go. Arizona Cardinals to beat Baltimore Ravens, 100-1. Lock it in. Cardinals,
That's
who I think
crazy.
we just officially, from the vibes, eliminated from playoff contention like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Bills versus the Seahawks, or the Bills versus the Commanders is also 90-1. And I love the Commanders, but it's a year too early to me. They're not going to run
Yeah.
through the NFC. But if there's a team that could do it, it's the Rams.
Yeah. No, I do think you can find value all over the board. I'm going to officially say at this point in the season, the Rams are the best value on the board.
I agree. I like that. All right, I'm definitely putting some futures in.
All right, so we were at what got us off on that tangent?
The Bengals versus the Titans.
Oh yeah, and somehow it led to the Rams are winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The
There's
next
some
game-
games we can fly through, though.
Yeah, the next game is Dolphins Texans. Texans favored by 2.5 at home.
Yeah.
Both teams. Well, I said both teams really need this game more so the Dolphins because the Texans. They've been underwhelming, but their division's not that good, so they can still kind of stumble into a division championship.
Yeah. I think
the
the
end of the
Texans,
world
for
for those.
vibes purposes, need to smash the Dolphins this week, though.
Yeah, they definitely need it for the locker room.
Yeah.
Commanders Saints. Commanders -7. Man, I'm not sure how I feel about this. It's we're looking at 43.5 over under. It's in New Orleans.
Oh, it's going over. That's going over 43.5.
I do think it's going over, but I'm trying
That
to decide
is,
if I think
I
they
might have to
cover.
get on that line right now. 43.5 is so low. Holy cow.
That is low. Jaden Daniels, sort of a homecoming, a little bit.
True.
So I like that.
Dude. We just cooked up a parlay. Oh,
yeah,
my
we
God.
did.
Let's go.
We did. Look, we just Texans to cover over in Commander Saints and Rams to win the Super Bowl. That's your parlay.
That's it. That's your parlay, guys. You're welcome. Here's $100,000.
Yep. Not financial advice. Jets, Jags. The Jets are -3.5. This is
Move
in
on.
Jacksonville. Over under 40.5. Thoughts?
I think that game, I don't know. I think the Jets cover, unfortunately. I think the Jets probably blow the Jaguars out. So,
Yeah, I mean it's Mac Jones, right? It's Mac
Yeah.
Jones. Did he have a history of playing well against you guys when he was in our division, or no?
no, I think the past few years that we've played the Patriots, one team has won like 16-13, 12-11, like the dumbest
Yeah.
scores ever. Yeah. So that game's a snooze fest. I will unfortunately have it on though.
Yeah. Next up, we have Steelers Eagles. Eagles are favored by 5 at home, and the over/under is 42.5. I haven't decided yet if Pittsburgh is going to win this game, but I think I like them to cover. I think they're going to hang around.
Yeah.
I'm just high on Pittsburgh overall.
I'm actually
Which-
the other way. I'm
I would say this would be a
low
great
on the
episode to
Steelers.
be low on Pittsburgh, because Caleb's not here to defend them. But
Yeah, he's ducking
I
me
just
because he knows
just
my
high on
Steelers thoughts.
yeah, that's what it is.
No, I
just-
mean I think they're a
wow.
good football team. I just don't think they're good enough. Like the Steelers and the Chargers in my head are very similar football teams. They play good football. They have decent defenses. The Steelers have a better defense. I shouldn't say decent. The Steelers have a very good defense. The Chargers have a better offense. What it comes down to me is quarterback play. And while Russ has looked good, I don't think that he's better than 12 other quarterbacks in the league. Justin
I don't-
Herbert on any
Yeah.
given Sunday could beat anybody.
I don't think he's better than Herbert either, but I think you could make the case he's having a better season than Herbert. I have to look at the numbers.
I
My
don't
vibes
think
are telling me
so.
that the numbers are probably close.
They probably are because they run the ball a lot. The Chargers do, but I don't know. That's just vibes. I mean, the Chargers have a couple of close losses to good teams: Chiefs, Ravens, beat the Bengals. Did lose to the Cardinals by 2 in a kicking fest. Chiefs again. So they did lose to the Steelers, but that was week one.
I'm
So.
way off, by the way, and I'm in some ways happy that I am because I love Justin Herbert. It's not even close. He's having a way better season.
Yeah,
My vibes
Herbie's the
are off
man,
on
dude.
that.
Herbie has flown under the radar this year because everybody was off of him in fantasy, so nobody's
Yeah.
paying attention to him.
Yeah. Well, he's not. I mean, he's been okay in fantasy. You know what I mean? So it's like that
Yeah.
doesn't mean he's playing bad, though. To your point,
Yeah, no, exactly. Like that is kind of my
one
point. Is like
interception is
he's not
crazy.
fantasy viable necessarily,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean that he's not playing extremely good football this year.
Yeah,
And he's been
he's awesome.
hurt a couple times too. He's been in and out of a game, few games. I think he may have missed 1 week, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, have his jersey. Second favorite QB. After that, we have Ravens Giants. This game scares me because it doesn't really matter, but for fantasy purposes, mine and Caleb's shared team, as well as your personal team, have all made it to the Final Four in your league. And Caleb and I are going against a team that has Lamar Jackson coming off of a bye against the Giants. And that is terrifying.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I need the Giants to figure something out here to help us
This
out.
just feels like I don't know. It just feels like one of those games where the Ravens will get it done in the Ravens way. Like the Ravens play down to teams.
Unnecessarily gross game.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
Yeah.
22-15 or 17 and Lamar's gonna have like one passing touchdown and I could be wrong. This is just vibes, but they could blow them out. I mean, they blew the Broncos out when I thought that was a sleeper game, but this one just feels like they're gonna sleepwalk through it. They're gonna run Henry.
176 yards passing, one passing touchdown, one rushing touchdown, and 36 rushing yards.
That's a hell of a stat line.
I know. That's what scares me, is that I feel like that would be he's to the point where like even that would be like this game was kind of gross because the Giants probably still hang around with that stat line. But we probably lose our fantasy matchup. With that,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
We'll see.
To double back, the guy that I'm playing is Eagles heavy. He has Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. So
Yeah.
I take back everything I said about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they have the best defense in the league. I think they keep this game extremely close. They hold the Eagles to like, let's say 13 points. Yeah. And I come out victorious. You guys come out victorious. And we have an incredible podcast set up for next week.
That would be awesome. If it makes you feel any better, if it gives you some encouragement, maybe with the turmoil going on with AJ Brown, it gets in the coaches' heads and they start mixing things up and not doing what they've been doing, causes problems on the offense, and
I would love that. Yeah, I follow this account. Everybody should follow it. It's very good on Twitter. It's called Coach Speech or Coach Speak Index or something like that. So they just take whatever a coach says, they see what happens the following week, and they're like, okay, you can trust this coach and you can't. The last time somebody was complaining, and Kellen Moore made a point about it, was Devontae Smith, and he came out with 11 targets the next week. So I think A.J. Brown sees the ball a lot in this matchup. And maybe they don't run Saquon for 180 yards, which I think he's matchup proof, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to come out on top. So
the scary thing for you is even if they lean heavy on AJ Brown, if he gets in the end zone, that's points for Hurts. If he gets just shy of the end zone, it's still
Hurts
points for Hurts.
Yeah.
And like so, I guess
maybe
if they go pass heavy and eliminate Saquon, but then in that case, Hurts is probably playing well. So
yeah, I need the whole offense to sputter. So
yeah. If they get in their own heads, it might happen. We have next up Bills Lions. This should be a great game. Over under 53.5. So my gut instinct would say easy over, both great offenses, but I feel like in those games usually that's when it ends up being super low, like 17-20.
Yeah. I
It
would,
just makes no sense.
yeah, 53.5 is a lot. It probably gets bet up. It's probably already been bet up. And the last time I bet a game that was in the like low to mid 50s was the Rams Patriots Super Bowl. That's how long it's been since I've hammered an over like that. And that one scarred me for life. It was like 10-7. And I was like,
That was
wait.
bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Even when teams
13 to
have
9
bad
don't work for me.
defenses and the other two teams have great offenses, it just sometimes the game script. Bills slow the ball down. The Lions can do that too.
Yeah.
Um, I hope not though. From a neutral standpoint, I would love to see this game just get crazy.
It would be fun. It would be fun. But yeah, I mean, from a betting standpoint, you have the Lions who are coming off of a 65-point game, like
Yeah,
collectively. The Bills are coming off of an 86-point game. So both of those would crush this over. But if you're in that locker room, whichever team you are, you let up more points than you like,
yep,
significantly more points than you like, especially if you're Buffalo. Detroit doesn't want to be letting up 31. It's not easy to
yep,
win games when you're letting up 31. So not only are you coming off a week where you let up a bunch, so you feel like you have something to prove, but you're going against one of the best offenses in the league, no matter which side you're on here. So that's even more reason to get up. So I feel like the defenses
yeah,
get up for this game.
yeah. That's a good way to put it. I like that. I like that philosophy. Vibes are saying under in this Bills Lions game. What's the
Yeah,
spread?
and
Lions 2.5.
Lions minus 2.5 at home. So
2.5.
I would say, in conclusion, Bills win 55-3. No, I don't know. It should be a
Just
really
enough
good
to
game.
cover by
Just enough,
themselves.
yeah, yeah, just enough.
I would
Yeah,
take
that'll be a
Lions
good
two
one
and a
though.
half. A field goal
Yeah,
again.
yeah, could see that. They have a great kicker too. Bates, I was all over him in the offseason. Somebody should have listened to me.
That's
Uh,
sus.
okay. UFL legend. I'm a spring football guy. Patriots Cardinals. Cardinals 6-point favorites. This game's 45.5, and it's in Arizona. This game doesn't really matter because Patriots aren't making it. I think we officially eliminated the Cardinals on this episode. We at least eliminated from their division. I guess
Yeah,
maybe
I
they
think
could
they
squeak
still
into
have
the
a chance, I
playoffs.
think, to make both. They have a chance for the
Yeah,
division
yeah.
too.
I did say last week if they get in the playoffs, they're going to win a playoff game. But then they looked not great this week, so I don't
They
know.
do have the Patriots and the Panthers next
Okay.
2 weeks, and then they have the Rams and the Cardinals. Or the
The
Cardinals, the 40.
Cardinals playing
They
themselves.
play each other. Yeah.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
So they're not officially out, but this is a big game for them. I think they bounce back. I think they cover 6 pretty easily. I like the Patriots. I like Drake May. I hate the Patriots. Why did I just say that?
Yeah, whoa, I was going to say, that was
Yeah,
crazy.
that was crazy. I'm sure that when they become good, I'll hate Drake May too. He seems
Oh,
easily hateable. But
same.
I do like him this year because they suck, and I think
I
that
liked him in the draft. I think he's kind of scaring me with how he's playing because he's showing some flashes of being really, really, really good. But when he becomes really, really, really good, I'll hate him.
yeah, we
So that'll
need
be
the Patriots to win too because they're now in line to get Travis Hunter, which would be an absolute disaster.
yeah, that would suck. That would suck.
Yeah.
Bucks Chargers. This probably is going to be a good game. I feel like the Bucks are a frisky team. They're also very inconsistent though, which is what worries me. But when they're firing on all cylinders, they're actually a really fun team to watch. Chargers are favored by 3 at home, and the over/under is 45.5.
Yeah, that's an intriguing game. I don't have a lean in that game actually.
Have these two teams ever played each other in the history of time? I can't picture those two uniforms on the same field.
I don't think so. Let's check it out. But
Like this feels like one of those games that, I mean, I guess it happens every 4 years, but I
yeah, I
feel like
can't
I've
tell you
never
what
seen
happened
it.
the
Like
last time they played each
maybe
other.
there aren't any memorable matchups between them. I've
They
never.
played 12
I don't
times.
remember.
The last time they
Yeah.
played, the Bucks won 38-31 in 2020. So that was Tom Brady. I would assume.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't. The Bucks are a very tough team to bet.
Yeah.
every time I feel like I bet them one way or the other, I come out the wrong way. So I'm going to stay away from this game.
Yeah, fair enough. Sunday Night Football, we have the Packers and Seahawks. This is in Seattle, but the road team is the favorite. Packers favored by 3, and the over-under is 45.5. I don't like picking favorites for some reason. It just scares me because I'm like, oh, I'm starting from behind to begin with.
Yeah.
And I have been on the Seahawks a lot this year, and they are at home. But I think I like the Packers.
Yeah,
I think they're better.
I like the Packers too. I think the Packers are bold statement. I think they're a top 5 team in the NFL. Actually,
No,
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go out
I
there and
like
say.
it.
Uh, with that, this would be the true test. But like I said, their 4 losses are to teams that I would put slightly ahead of them, and it's only 3 teams. So,
Yeah,
um, I like the Packers. It's a tough one. That's gonna be a really good game, though. I'm excited about that. I don't believe in the Seahawks. Honestly, I don't feel like their schedule has been as good as 8-5. The Cardinals, they always beat the Cardinals. 49ers haven't been good this year. Jets suck. Got blown out by the Bills. They've lost to the Rams. They blew out the Falcons. They got blown out by the 49ers. They lost to the Giants. They got blown out by the Lions. So I don't think they're as good as 8-5.
yeah,
They've just played teams at the right time. So yeah, I would lean Packers now that I've gone through all that. 3. I'm gonna see if it gets down to 2.5, maybe even by a half a point, and hammer that.
yeah. I could. I mean, it's it's 3 on the score. I've noticed sometimes when we're submitting our picks, like if one of us using the score and one of us using FanDuel or DraftKings or something, there'll be some variance there. So you might even be able to
Yeah.
find that 2.5 somewhere. Yeah, I like the Packers as well. And man, great podcasting. But there was something I wanted to say about them that I forgot. Oh, they were my preseason pick to win the Super Bowl. So I'm very much high on the Packers as well.
There you go. And it's a good year to stick to your guns. They're 18-1 right now to win the Super Bowl, and I think I don't know. I like that. I
I
like
might
those
have
odds.
to parlay it with Packers and Rams to win the Super Bowl. They'll just find a
Oh
way.
shit!
That's the parlay right there.
Packers Rams in the NFC Championship to
Yeah,
shock everybody.
Yep. I actually don't. My biggest problem with that would be like it's hard to predict how it's going to turn out. Like they could meet each
Yeah,
other
the bracket
before.
unfolds.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah.
yeah.
Double header on Monday night. I guess I didn't know
Yeah, it
this.
looks like it.
Double mad games. So that kind of sucks. It's probably too late to flex any of these. We have Bears, Vikings, and Falcons, Raiders. So we get to see a Desmond Ritter revenge game maybe on primetime.
Yeah,
Against the
I
Falcons?
wonder if the Falcons go to Penix at some point this week. If
Yeah,
Cousins
Kirk has
struggles.
been bad. Really,
Kirko
really
has
bad.
been bad. And then Vikings Bears. I think that's an intriguing game. The Bears obviously got blown out, but Caleb Williams always fun to watch. And then the Vikings
Yeah,
are a really good team, so I'd like to see them are they going to continue to do it? This could be a sleeper spot for them.
yeah, definitely
Going
could get
against.
caught off guard here.
Yeah. We did skip over one game this
Did we?
week.
What?
Yeah, Colts Broncos, unless I'm blanking.
Yeah, no, we did.
And yeah, I mean the Broncos are probably going to win. If I had to guess, by 40. I
Well,
am also going to.
they would have to have a quarterback to do that. So
Well, yeah, one that goes through them more than one read. But I am also going to officially put it out. I am the biggest Bo Nix truther in the DMV area.
I like
And
that. Certified. We should
as the
hang the
head
banner.
of the Bo Nix committee, the door is closing very quick to get onto this bandwagon. I'm going to give it 2 more weeks, Colts, and I'll give it Chargers away. If you're not on by then,
It's too late.
you're out of there. It's too
Wow.
late. I'm not accepting any more Applin
President
teams.
of the Bo-lievers of DMV.
The Bo-lievers, dude. I love it. I'm going to make a
DMV
Twitter called the
Bo-lievers.
Bo-lievers.
It might already be. They might already have it.
Yeah, they probably do.
But,
Not DMV
there's
though.
no shot. Yeah, no shot. There's a DMV Bo-lievers already taken.
Yeah, I don't know how this happened, but I do just want to say I like Bo Nix. And I'm definitely gonna continue forward as a Bo Nix truther. I don't think I ever said that he was gonna be a Hall of Famer or anything. I just want to kind of throw that out there. But
This sounds like some backpedaling.
I will now go on the record and say he is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Okay,
And he will be.
I thought you were going to say, I didn't say he was going to be a Hall of Famer, but I will say now he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
But I will say,
I will say it now. I didn't say it preseason, but I will say it now.
Bo Nix will be a Hall of Famer. Bo Nix.
Let's go.
I did compare Bo Nix to Drew Brees a lot, actually. That was my comp for him. I like Drew Brees a lot. Does Bo Nix get there? I don't know. But I fucking love Bo Nix. And he's proven a lot of people wrong. So, Bo Nix, top 10 quarterback in the league, future Hall of Famer, Drew Brees light. So
we want to take a moment here at Yelling at Pigeons to congratulate Bo Nix on his Hall of Fame induction. I believe we're the first, so credit to us.
We are
locking him in. The gold jacket. We'll get it straight. We'll have our people talk to your people. It's going to take a while, but we'll get
maybe
it
20 years or so.
Yeah.
A couple of Super Bowls later.
But you heard it here first from the president of the DMV Bo-lievers. So DMV Bo-lievers Twitter might be a nice fresh start. That's anytime you start a new account, you just new. You're not blocked by anybody or anything, and it's just fun. But that was Broncos Colts. I can't wait to hear Seth's song about this game because I'm curious. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say Seth?
Mm-mm.
This is our Colts. This is our team guy. Whoa.
What is that thing? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
That was a bubble. Whoa, I didn't get any fireworks. Bo-liever.
There we go. You really have never heard of Seth?
Mm-mm.
The Colts song guy?
If you play a song, I might.
Yeah. I can.
I'm sure that Noah's played it for me.
No, I think Noah hates him. I don't want to speak for Noah, but I think Noah.
I could see Noah hating somebody that is just having fun in life.
He is, and he is. He's just having a great time. Yeah, I'll play you a little snippet here and see if I can figure this out. Because Seth
I think we get copyrighted. Is this going to end our career?
Nah.
Career-ending injury.
Yeah, I don't think so. Seth the Flow Erskines.
Sorry, go ahead.
This guy, he's the best.
Oh, I have, yeah.
We bleed blue. This is our Colts. Whether we lose, we love them.
He's the best. But anyway, he does a little hook every time that's unique to the matchup.
Okay.
And I'm curious with this one because they're both in the horse family. So I'm wondering if it will be something about like
Is it usually like themed like that?
Yeah, so like the Steelers one was like it'll be like for the shoe, beat the Steelers, let's steal a victory. Like everyone is like themed.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see what this one will be since they're both horse related. So
nice.
That'll be he'll be dropping that.
I'm gonna go on the record and say he says no to Bo.
Ooh,
is
no
be
to Bo.
In the song.
Okay, say no to Bo. He also ends all his songs with a nay. So that'll be weird. Does he cut the nay out because it might be misconstrued as supporting the Broncos?
Oh.
A lot of answers, a lot of questions to be answered on Friday.
Yes,
we shall see. But that was covering Colts Seth with Yelling at Pigeons. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
Yeah, about an hour and a half of yapping almost. So
yeah,
solid.
Better than last time. We didn't go on a 35-minute rant about the Jets. I've got nothing left for this year, so that would have gotten us to the 2-hour mark. So we cut it down a little bit.
It comes off a little sad, but I get it. Got nothing left is that's deep.
It is deep.
It's deep. But hey, you've got the Chargers, and I've
got the Chargers. I've got the Vikings. I've got the Lions. Yeah, I've got a lot of teams that I'm rooting for now.
Again, Bo. You got Bo.
I got Bo. I got the Broncos. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. You know, you just kind of like you're just out, kind of flirting with teams. Still married, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Open
yeah,
relationship.
it's cool. Yeah, and if the team that I'm rooting for loses, it's okay. You know, you just kind of find another team. So that's kind of where I
That
am
was my
right
side
now.
team anyway. It's okay.
Yeah,
Find another
yeah, that was my fourth favorite team, so it doesn't matter. So,
one. Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Lastly, before we go, when's the Bo Nix jersey coming in? You got
I
J.K.
haven't
Dobbins
ordered it.
jersey.
I gotta get.
And I love
I
it, but I
gotta.
barely heard you talk about J.K. Dobbins. And then you don't
Yeah,
have a
but
Bo
J.K.
jersey.
Dobbins
It's
won
crazy.
me this jersey. Basically, I had to get a J.K.
That's
Dobbins
true.
jersey.
That's true. I didn't even.
So
I totally
yeah,
forgot about that. One of the
that's why.
craziest
Yeah, that's
backdoor
why I got a
covers
J.K.
ever.
Dobbins jersey.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Bo Nix, Sam Darnold will be the next ones on the list.
Love that.
To order for sure. So
Love that. You can order that and a VR headset same day.
there we go, same day, and maybe a camera and a mic. Who knows?
Yeah, there we go.
Christmas is
Do
coming.
some,
I'll make my wish list.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that was all, and we'll talk some ball with you guys next week.
Adios.
Peace.
Yelling at pigeons. Nobody